Hi book lovers, it's Jenny at Julia Baby Jen's Reading Room, and this is my summer book haul. I'm excited to go ahead and do a video of my summer book haul. I didn't think I had that many books because I haven't been buying that many books lately. I haven't been pre-ordering very many, and I feel like I really didn't get that many books this summer until I started compiling my list and stacking them and realized, yeah, I did get quite a few books this summer. Didn't really mean to, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what I got. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my ebooks I bought off of Kindle. The Sky is Everywhere by Gia D. Nelson. I've heard only wonderful things about this book, and it was on sale at one point. It is about a girl named Lenny who is kind of a bookworm and likes to fade in the background, and then her older sister dies. So it's all about her coping with that loss and how to go from there. So it looks really good. I'm excited about it. Wicked by Jennifer L. Armentrout, another one that was on sale. I don't know a lot about this one other than it's her typical Jennifer Armentrout, paranormal, supernatural, romance type of thing. I think it's Ivy and Wren. I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard it's good. Deity by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the third book in the Covenant series, which I'm in the middle of. Apollyon by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the fourth book in the Covenant series. Across the Galaxy by Heather Hildenbrand. This was a freebie I got. There was a sale going on and I got several freebies. This is one of them. It is about a girl, Lena, who thinks she's normal, but she's not. She's from another planet. And so it's all about her discovery, and it's science fiction. It sounds like a lot of fun. The Amber Project by J.N. Chaney. This is another freebie I got. This one is a futuristic world where there's been this mysterious gas called the Variant that has taken over, and it's either killed most of organic life or mutated it. And this is about a generation of kids or something that have some kind of a resistance to it. I think they're like hybrids or something. And anyway, it's called the Amber Project. So that's basically what this book is about. That looks like something I would really like. Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I've heard a lot of really great things about this one. It is a science fiction, a story, fantasy type of story about a girl that falls into some kind of a hole, and when they go to rescue her, there's like a big metal hand under the earth, and like a giant metal hand, and it's mysterious and no one knows what it is. So I guess it's about understanding about this giant hand, and I'm guessing it's probably some kind of giant in the ground. So it looks really good, and I'm excited to read it. This is another freebie, The Soul Summoner by Alicia Hyder. This is about a girl named Sloane who can read people's souls. So it's about her paranormal ability, and I think she's trying to catch a killer. The School for Good and Evil by Soman Shinani. Actually, I've already read this book, but I got it from the library, and then one of my Goodreads groups picked it for the book of the month, so I wanted to reread it with them. And they had this on sale on Kindle, so I just went ahead and bought it. I really do like this series a lot. Wren by Sarah Noffke. This was another freebie. It's about a guy named Wren who can control people's minds, and he doesn't feel very comfortable with this power. So I don't know much other than that, but it sounds interesting. Slammed by Colleen Hoover. I actually had the second and third books already, and I've been waiting to get the first book if I found it on sale somewhere. Finally, it was on sale on Kindle, so I grabbed it. This is an NA romance with the couple is Laken and Will, I believe, and it sounds like your typical NA troubled romance, but I'm excited to read it. And that was all of my Kindle books I got this summer. All right, let's move on to physical books, which I'm really excited about. First off is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. And actually, this just arrived for me today, and I'm so happy that I could throw it in my book haul. I knew it was coming, but Yep, it just arrived. I pre-ordered it from Amazon, one of the few that I have pre-ordered for the summer, and I'm really excited about it. It is just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful book. I love the maps inside of it. Oh, so good. I loved An Ember in the Ashes, and I am very excited to read this. All the Birds in the Sky by Charlie Jane Anders. I got this on Book Outlet for a really good deal. You might want to check if they still have it because it wasn't too long ago. I met this author when I was in Tucson at the Tucson Book Festival in March, and I had never heard of her, and I never heard of this book. She was on a panel with Jonathan Mayberry and Austin Aslin and Paolo Bacchialucci. I don't know how to say his last name, I'm sorry. But she was on this really awesome science fiction panel, and I really liked her. I thought she was interesting. And then I was debating buying her book, but the way they have it set up, like you have to go to another book, like a whole nother area to buy the book and then bring it back to get it signed. And I was already in line to get my signatures on my other books that I already had ready for the other authors. So I didn't do it. And then I got home and I kind of was kicking myself because I'm like, that really did look like a good book. And I really liked the author, and it would have been nice to have it signed. So I didn't get a signed book, but I found it on Book Outlet, and I was really happy, so I'm going to read it and see if I like it. Clockwork Angel and Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. I already own these in the hardback original versions that came out whenever they were released a long time ago. I read them a couple of different times now, and I love the Infernal Devices so much. It's one of my favorite series. And they've re-released these paperbacks, and I adore these covers. I know some people don't like them, but I really do. So I'm going to start buying them. I'm starting with the Infernal Devices, and then I'll buy the Mortal Instruments. But I just want to start with these because I really do love this series. So I grabbed those. A couple of more books I got at the Book Outlet. These are Bind Up Novellas to the I Am Number 4 series, the Lorien Legacies. This is Hidden Enemy and Rebel Allies. This has novellas 7 through 9, and this has novellas 10 through 12. And I have already read these. I think. No, I've read this one. I haven't read this one yet. And they're really good. I love the novellas. They give you so much backstory on what's really going on, especially character development. It's really awesome. So they were only a couple bucks, so they were worth getting. Curse of the Wendigo by Rick Yancey. I also got this in Book Outlet, and I was thrilled. I love the Monstrumologist series. I read it last year and fell in love with this series. It is perfect. I love it so much. And I only had owned the first book, which a friend gave me. I read them all at the library, and to find this on Book Outlet, and like in the cover that I like these covers the best, and it's like new, but it was a couple bucks. I was so happy. So now I get to add this to my shelf. These are books that I probably will reread at some point because they're just so good. The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan. I, of course, well, you probably don't know this, but I actually own the original set of 5. I think I hit the first 4 I have in paperback, and then the 5th book I have is a hardback. I got them ages ago when my kids were younger, middle school age, and they were having trouble. They just weren't born readers, and they weren't doing well in school as far as reading went. So I heard that these books were really good for kids. So I bought the whole set, and we read them together, and it was so fun. Because my kids have all read them, with the exception of Tesla, who's only read a couple, they are so beat up. I actually have them right here. Pull all of them out, but this is my original Titan's Curse that I bought. But you know, they're just all, I hate it when you get that. And with my kids, they all look like that when they borrow my paperbacks. So they're pretty beat up. And now they have the new covers, and I really like them. This was on Amazon. I don't know, it was only like $3 or something. So I just kind of threw it in my cart when I was ordering some other stuff. I want to get the whole set, but right now I got the Titan's Curse. Fearless by Cornelia Funk. One of my favorite places to find books is the Dollar Tree. I cannot believe it when I find books there. They always have books there, but you know, a lot of times they're just not great books. I mean, they're like cheap, not good books. But every so often, they get in a shipment of books that are on clearance somewhere else, and they end up at the Dollar Tree. Everything in the Dollar Tree is $1. So to find books there that you might want to read for $1 is amazing. So one of them I found was this book, Fearless by Cornelia Funk. I love Cornelia Funk. This is in hardback. It's a beautiful cover. It's got the three-dimensional thing. So I was really excited when I found this book. Fall of Night and Daylighters by Rachel Caine. These were also Dollar Tree finds. Fall of Night is a paperback and Daylighters is a hardback. I haven't even started this series yet, the Bougainville Vampires. I keep meaning to. I have like books, well, I think this is up to book 10 now. I have all the books up to book 10. I just don't have the last few, I guess. So one of these days I will sit down and read this series and hopefully I'll like it. I got all the books inexpensively at some point or another, and I've just sort of been collecting them. One of these days I will read this series. Shadows by Rachel Caine. This is another Dollar Tree find. I love Rachel Caine. This book looks really good. I'm excited to read it. I can't wait to read this book. I just love it when you find stuff. Like I've already said this. I just love it when you find stuff at the Dollar Tree. It's the best thing ever. The only thing better was if it was free. Version by Catherine Howe. This book I've already read and I really liked it. And then it was at the Dollar Tree again, hardback, beautiful. I decided I wouldn't mind it for my shelves. I honestly wouldn't mind rereading it again sometime. It's kind of a dense book. It takes a little bit to get through. It's sort of a retelling of the Crucible, and actually in the book, the high school girls are studying that for a class. But it's modern day, but a lot of stuff starts happening like it did in the Crucible. And actually it goes back and forth between 2 points of view. It goes to the current day main character, and then it goes back to one of the characters that was there in the Crucible, the actual little girls in the village. So it goes flip-flops back and forth so you can see the similarities, and it's really creepy, really interesting. My only big beef was I wasn't real thrilled with the ending. I felt like it was a little lackluster for what we were leading up to, but it also didn't really give you a clear answer of what was really going on the whole time. So it kind of left it up to you to be all freaked out, which it did do. There's parts of this that really freaked me out. So it's a really good book for Halloween. It's really good if you like historical fiction. If you're interested in like the witch trials and a whole part of history, this is a really, really good book. Slayers by C.J. Hill. I got this on Amazon as a used book. It was a book of the month in one of my Goodreads groups, and I wanted to read it. It's a dragon story, but dragons are very evil in this, and it's about a group of kids. They're born with the ability to fight these dragons who are going to take over our planet soon. And so they're at this training camp for the summer. And the main character, she's just been recruited. She didn't know she was one of them. The other ones have all been together since they were like 11, and they're like 17 now or 18. And she doesn't even know anything, so she's trying to, most of the time she spends trying to run away from the camp. It's a pretty good book. I did finish it, and I liked it all right. There was a lot of cliched stuff, but as far as if you like a YA dragon story, paranormal, lots of action, this one's pretty good. It could use a little more action in my opinion, but I'm hoping the rest of the series would be more action-filled. I've heard it is, so I think I'm going to try to continue with it. How to Train Your Dragon, Book 8. How to Break a Dragon's Heart by Cressida Cowell. This is another Dollar Tree find. I've only read I think one of these. I loved the movies. These are some of my favorite kids movies. I just adore them so much. So I've been meaning to start collecting the series and reading it. This is book 8, but I just think they're the coolest books. The illustrations, and they're just adorable. I just love them. So yeah, I was happy to find this at the Dollar Tree. Darkness Falls by Kate Tiernan. This is another Dollar Tree find. I can't believe how many books I found at Dollar Tree this summer. Honestly don't know anything what this is about, but since it was $1 at the Dollar Tree, it had a cool cover. Originally, it was from Walmart. It was 15 bucks, but I guess it's book 2, so I have to find the first book, but I thought it'd be worth picking up. Icons by Margaret Stohl. This book I have read. This is a, I don't know, it's sort of an alien story, futuristic, post PA type of book. I wasn't really that into it, but it was at the Dollar Tree. I think it's a really cool cover, and I thought it was worth grabbing. I do want to read the sequel at some point, so I might want to reread this one first anyway, so I thought I would grab it. The Tragedy Paper by Elizabeth Levin. I honestly don't know anything what this book is about. It was a bargain book at BAM, which I was at for the Harry Potter party, the new book release party, and I've heard it's really good. I've heard of it before. I really don't know what it's about other than I'm assuming it's a contemporary novel. That's what it looks like. But it looks really good, so it was $3, so I grabbed it. The School for Good and Evil, The Last Ever After by Somain Chinani. This is the third book in this series. You saw I bought the first book on ebook. Well, I've read the second book, and I have not read the third book yet. And I was at the BAM release party, like I was saying, and they just had a bunch of like MG Kids books up front, you know, with the Harry Potter books, trying to get you to buy them. And they have this book sitting here. It's now out in paperback, so I went ahead and bought it because I am excited to finally finish this series. These books are so thick. They're so good. I'm so happy I got it. William Shakespeare's Tragedy of the Sixth Revenge by Ian Dosher. This is the Star Wars William Shakespeare series, I guess I should say. I have the first three, which are actually episodes 4, 5, and 6. A New Hope and all that. So this is actually the third episode. So the Sixth Revenge, but Tragedy of the Sixth Revenge because it's Shakespeare. I haven't read these yet, but I just think these are so cool. I just really think I'm going to love these. I love Shakespeare and I love Star Wars. What better? And the books are just so cool. I got this at BAM at the Harry Potter release party. It was actually a bargain book for $6, and so I could not resist that for a hardcover. I still need to find the other two. The Shadow Hour by Melissa Gray. I pre-ordered this book. This was one of the few that I pre-ordered. It's a sequel to The Girl at Midnight, which I really did like. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that series. I loved it. It's a fantasy series, and I love fantasy. It actually reminded me a little bit of Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Not quite as in-depth and not quite as good, but the whole premise and the way it leads up into it just reminded me a little of that. And I just really liked it. Even if it's a little bit cliched and we've read it before, I just love these kind of books. So I'm excited to read the sequel. Yep. Paper and Fire by Rachel Kane, another Rachel Kane book. This is the second book in the Great Library series. I loved the first book. I thought it was such a fun original story. And for anyone who likes books or is a book lover, I think these books are really fun. So I'm excited to read this one. And of course, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany and Jack Thorne. Of course. I mean, this is the book everybody bought this summer, right? I went to the release party, I pre-ordered it, I picked up my copy, I had a lot of fun, I got a whole bunch of swag. My girlfriend and I went. We hardly did any of the Harry Potter activities, really. We did a lot more just wandering around the bookstore, talking about books. That's fun for us. We spent 3 hours in the bookstore, and honestly, I would do that every week. I think it's a blast to go with your friends who love to read to the bookstore and just wander around and talk about books. I think that is like the best time ever. So you don't have to twist my arm to do something like that. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. We took tons of pictures and had a lot of fun. Had some butterbeer. It was all good. As far as the book, I have read it. I read it the next day. I loved it. And if you didn't, well, I'm sorry. I've tried really hard not to say too much about it, but I have a lot of issues with people not liking it. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I don't want to say that. If you didn't enjoy it, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry you didn't enjoy it. I would have been disappointed if I didn't enjoy it, but I just love Harry Potter so much. The world, not just the Harry Potter character. I love the whole thing. And I really did feel like this was another trip to the Harry Potter world. It was a completely different format, but that did not bother me. I kind of knew that coming in. I knew when I was going to pick it up and read it that it was not going to be anything like the first 7 books. So I was not disappointed in that. And I think that's what a lot of people had issues with. Not everybody, but I think that's what a lot of people did have issues with, was the whole format thing. And if they were going to release a book, they should have done it like an actual Harry Potter book. But I understand why they did it the way they did. I think that, well, I'm going to stop now. I'm going to do a whole video just on this book at some point. I know I'm late to the party, but I don't care. I still want to talk about this book. Finally, Blue Screen by Dan Wells. My friend Karen sent me this book. I love Dan Wells, and he was at a local bookstore to her in Phoenix, I guess in May, I think. And so she went and she picked me up a signed book of his. This is his newest one, and I'm really excited to read it. I haven't read it yet, and I haven't heard a lot about it, which I'm okay with that. So there it is. I generally don't like to learn a lot about a book before I read it. I kind of want to know like what genre it is, so I kind of have an idea what I'm going to be in for. But I don't really want to read a lot of reviews because I really like to go into a book just discovering it for myself. I feel like if I read too many reviews ahead of time, it can kind of influence my experience reading the book a little bit. Because if, say, someone thought it was, I read a review where someone thought the romance was cliched, that's going to jump out at me as I'm reading it. Now, I might jump on me anyway, but I have a feeling that a lot of times if I read a review and then read the book, that I'm already kind of getting an opinion on it, and I haven't even read it yet. So it's just one of those things that I like to discover it for myself, I guess, because, you know, and sometimes I will completely agree with a reviewer. Like, I'll read something and I look through a review, oh yeah, I agree completely with that review, but I want to do that myself. I don't want other people to make that decision for me. Not that, you know, posting a review is a bad thing. I think that's awesome. I do look at like the stars a book has, how many stars a book will have, like on Amazon and Goodreads. If it's anywhere between 3.5 and 4, I think, oh, it's probably a toss-up if I'll like it or not. If it's over 4, I have a feeling I'll probably like it, but you just never know. Anyway, that was a long-winded discussion. But anyway, so I don't know much about this book, but I'm excited to read it finally. That is my summer book haul. So yeah, leave me any comments below. Link up any of your own summer book haul videos or anything you've got recently. I love looking at book haul videos. I get a lot of great ideas for new books that I didn't even know about, or you know, or books that were coming out that I wasn't aware of. So that's always really cool. If you've read any of these books, let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. The links to follow me are down in the box below. Everyone have a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.